Most people don't quit sustainability because they stop caring. And I think that's important to say up front. What actually happens is much quieter than that. Around the 30-day mark, something shifts. Life gets busy, routines get disrupted, energy dips, and sustainability starts to feel heavier than it did at the beginning. Not impossible, just heavier. And when something that started out meaningful slowly starts to feel like extra effort, people don't usually make a dramatic decision to stop. They just begin to disengage little by little without really noticing it themselves. The first 30 days are misleading. The first 30 days of sustainability are usually the easiest part, which is kind of ironic. You're learning new things, you're motivated, you're paying attention. There's novelty in that. New habits, new information, new awareness. You feel aligned, like your actions finally match your values. And because it feels good, we assume that's what sustainability is supposed to feel like long term. But that's actually the trap. Those first 30 days aren't sustainability, they're the honeymoon phase. When the excitement fades, people think something went wrong, when in reality, they just moved into the part no one really prepares them for. When sustainability becomes maintenance. After that initial phase, sustainability stops being about discovery and starts being about repetition. It's no longer exciting new choices. It's the same decisions over and over again, buying the same things, avoiding the same shortcuts, making the same trade offs. And repetition doesn't feel rewarding in the way that novelty does. There's no applause for consistency. No one celebrates you for quietly sticking to something that's no longer exciting. So people start wondering why it suddenly feels harder even though nothing technically changed. What changed is that sustainability turned into maintenance, and maintenance requires a different kind of energy than motivation. A lot of sustainability advice is built on the assumption that motivation will carry people through. That once you understand the stakes, once you really get it, you'll keep going. But motivation is emotional, and emotions are not stable. They spike when something feels urgent or meaningful, and then they fade when life intervenes, like deadlines, stress, family responsibilities, exhaustion. Motivation doesn't disappear because people stop caring. It disappears because it was never designed to be permanent. When sustainability relies on motivation alone, it works beautifully at first and then quietly collapses, leaving people feeling like the problem is them. This is the part most people underestimate. Sustainability adds thinking, constant low level thinking. What should I buy? Is this packaging okay? Is this actually better or is it just marketed better? At the beginning, that thinking feels empowering. You feel informed, intentional, aware. But over time, those decisions pile up, not in a dramatic way, but enough to be draining. And when people are tired, they don't suddenly abandon their values. They choose whatever requires the least mental energy in that moment. That's not character flaw. That's how humans cope with complexity. At some point, another question starts creeping in, and people don't always like admitting it. Is this even making a difference? Because there's no feedback loop, no clear signal that your effort matters, no visible outcome you can point to and say, oh, that's because of what I did. When effort feels invisible, it starts to feel optional. And that's usually when people don't quit sustainability outright. They drift. They loosen their grip. They tell themselves they'll get back to it later when things feel easier. On top of all of that, sustainability has developed a perfection problem. Somewhere along the way, it turned into an identity instead of a practice. You're either doing it right or you're failing. And that's a terrible framework for something that's supposed to last a lifetime. Real life isn't consistent. People have seasons, energy changes, circumstances shift. If sustainability only works when everything is optimized and ideal, it won't survive contact with reality. Because reality is messy by default. What actually keeps sustainability going after that first month isn't discipline or willpower, it's design. If you want momentum to last, you have to make sustainability easier to continue than to abandon. That means reducing the number of decisions you have to make every day, not increasing them. When something becomes automatic, when it's built into how you buy, how you plan, how you choose, it stops feeling like a constant test of values and starts feeling like a part of normal life. Another thing that really matters is letting sustainability shrink instead of forcing it to stay big. A lot of people try to do everything at once, especially at the beginning. And that works for a few weeks until life gets complicated. Momentum lasts when you allow your sustainable habits to scale down during busy seasons instead of disappearing entirely. Doing less doesn't mean you failed, it means you stayed in the game. Continuity beats intensity every single time. It also helps to stop measuring sustainability by effort and start measuring it by repeatability. If a habit only works when you are rested, motivated, and organized, it's not sustainable yet. The habits that last are the ones you can still do when you are tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. Momentum comes from choosing actions that survive imperfect days, not ideal ones. And finally, momentum is protected when you stop doing sustainability alone in your head. When habits stay invisible, they feel optional. When they're shared, even casually, they start to feel real. That doesn't mean posting everything online or turning it into performance. It can be as simple as naming that what you're trying to stick with or noticing patterns with other people. Sustainability lasts longer when it feels normal, not heroic. So I hope you're able to get something out of this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will subscribe. I hope to see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.